Okay. I'm Bryan. I'm a graduate architecture student here at UT. And this is Bennett. She's a graduate planning student. And together we were involved with a 5-week community-oriented design build program this summer here in Austin called the Public Interest Design Program, or PID for short. Essentially, what it was it emphasizes the public nature of architecture and asserts that there's a critical link between design and the environment, and also design and social equity. So essentially, how this program came to be was that currently there's inadequacies in the design profession. And currently there's about 2% of the United States population has service or connection to architectural professional services in design of their new homes. And this gap is huge in the United States, but it's even larger around the world. So essentially, we as future professionals have a responsibility of serving this population. And this gap continues to grow at an alarming rate. And essentially, this program is helping students learn how to better serve the public. So there's a collaborative process between a variety of individuals, institutions, and nonprofit organizations, both within Austin and also around the nation. It was taught by Bryan of Design Corps and our own Barbara Wilson of the CSD here. And each week, a leader in the field came and served as a weekly catalyst as a guest lecturer that not only taught the students the theory behind public interest design, but also the challenges and opportunities of applying it to their studies and in practice in itself. There was a total of 29 of us. We all had transdisciplinary backgrounds. There's a variety of backgrounds and majors between architecture, landscape architecture, planning, international finance and economics, teaching. So it's a very diverse group and made for great collaboration and conversation. And the main focus of this program was what's called asset-based design. And essentially what it does is, instead of focusing on assumed community needs and problems, it focuses on the values and assets that community members actually have within their communities. And it was a collaborative process where we worked with the actual community in a dialogue of sorts, that we listened to their concerns, they voiced their opinions, and with them we helped them achieve what they thought were the strengths of their neighborhoods. So a couple of highlighted projects. The top there you can see was an alley cleanup day that we took part in a way of kind of establishing trust with the actual community, which Lauren will mention a little bit later where that is. So it was a sense of just showing that we were actually really invested in the project and we really wanted to help, and it had great positive feedback. The middle there was a side project we did, which was not one of the main projects, and essentially we built and constructed a ramp for an elderly lady who had trouble getting access to her yard, and that was accomplished in a few hours one Saturday. And the bottom image, as you can see, is just talking with actually the community members we were involved with. Again, you can see that we worked together. Some teams overlapped. There was only 4 projects, but we all helped each other in the end. So I'll turn it over to Lauren. She'll mention about the projects themselves.
Our 4 projects were located in the Guadalupe neighborhood of East Austin. This site was chosen because of the previous relationship built through the Alley Flat Initiative. This project, Making Alleys into Assets. Currently, communities all over the U.S. are thinking about ways to reimagine alleys into productive and vibrant spaces. And this was our chance to think about what the Austin version looked like. We started by seeking out stakeholders, city officials, and residents of the neighborhood to gather their issues that they currently have with the alley. What we heard were safety, traffic, speeding traffic, lack of spatial organization, lack of continuity in the alley. So our goal then became to address and mitigate these issues while also preserving the local character and enhancing it where we could. We came up with 3 design solutions. The first was a garbage bin corral unit / address marker. The garbage bin corral provides spatial organization for the alley, and the address marker provides a front yard feel to the back alley. The address marker is also illuminated with a solar light that provides visibility within the alley during the evening, which also increases the safety of the alley. Second, we painted graphics on the pavement. And these graphics act to give the alley a unique identity. It sets it apart from all the other alleys. And it also provides a visual conflict for drivers as they pass through the alley. And that visual conflict tends to slow them down. And third, we lined the edges of the alley in limestone, and this provided spatial continuity within the space. And then finally, we created a toolkit document that outlines 17 strategies that are high impact, low cost ways for communities to start reimagining their alley spaces today. And our goal is that the City of Austin will take this document and promote it throughout the city. Wrong way. The Heritage Fence project was built on an individual homeowner's lot. It was a multi-generational household. The current homeowner is living in the house his grandfather built. This space is a hybrid public-private space that enhances the alley. It's actually directly across the street from one of the alley flat homes.
The third project was known as the 5 Mile Farms project. And access to local produce is difficult in cities, as you imagine, and Austin's no different. In this group, we worked with a local nonprofit called 5 Mile Farms, essentially who takes underutilized yard space and implements gardens and grows produce to not only serve as nourishment for the community, but also to build a sense of community. So we constructed 3 mobile farm stands, 2 of which were bikeable, to minimize the carbon emissions impact as far as delivering local produce, and also serving as impromptu spaces that can pop up within local communities and neighborhoods and alleyways that not only serve as local landmarks for the 5 Mile Farm network, but also create spaces for habitation and discussion, produce sales, and celebrates life in general for the Austin community. And the last project was the Shed Plus project. It was actually implemented within the Guadalupe neighborhood in itself. The students that worked on this project worked with a local painter who was a resident of the neighborhood who had a problem with storage of his supplies. So the students came up with a rather unique prototype, modular system built of wooden pallets that was serving as his storage shed for his supplies and also a chicken coop attachment hybrid structure. And they also imagined different variations and plugins to this structure, such as raised beds, clotheslines, etc., that actually are being implemented right now. The ACDDC is working with the Guadalupe neighborhood and are trying to implement this in the East Austin House Farm.
At the end, we threw a giant party. We called it the Alley Blitz. We invited everyone to come out and celebrate our accomplishments. And at the end of the term, we took some time to reflect on our successes, our challenges, and more importantly, to think about how to move the PID movement forward in education and in practice.
And in closing, we'd like to leave you with this quote, which essentially sums up the program. This is from Bryan Bell's book. It says, "Good design has the potential to benefit more people than it currently does. Design can play a direct role in addressing critical and social issues we face. The process of creating the built environment can allow communities and individuals to improve and celebrate their lives, and it can help solve their struggles by reshaping their existence." And if you'd like to know more about this program, we've created a document you can find on the CSD's website that documents it in full depth. It will be going on next year as another iteration, and you can also find the Alley Toolkit on the CSD's website. So we encourage you guys to check it out and get more information on the program.